Blog Talk Radio.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. This is the world premiere of 8 to 5, brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. I'm your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you today. Thanks for listening. Today is September 4th, 2012. It is 8:30 at night on the West Coast, 11:30 over there on the East Coast. And we are happy today to bring you 8 to 5. Today is the very first show, and you may have heard Chris Jones as our co-host on the 90 Degree Show. Chris is the president of March Aerobics. And a certified personal trainer and former Guinness Book of World Record holder. So we are honored to have him aboard to help our community stay healthy. 8 to 5 is a podcast, so people will not be able to call in, but we plan to have live shows in the future for individual questions. If you have a question for the episode, please contact the show at marchingpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at marchingpodcast. We will answer them as soon as possible. So without further ado, let's go 8 to 5.
You're now live here with Chris Jones.
What's up?
And Joseph Beard here. This is a podcast episode for the introduction of Chris Jones. We appreciate you listening today. Chris Jones is the president and CEO of March Aerobics. Good friend of mine. Chris is going to be starting the show 8 to 5 here on the Marching Podcast Network, and it will premiere on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern.
That means you need to listen in on Tuesdays.
That's right, on Tuesdays, listen in to Chris Jones. Chris Jones is a certified personal trainer, and he will be giving us fitness tips not only to help with the young musician, but also to all walks of life, to all students, ex-band members, people who were not in the band, and just the normal folk out living in the world today working. We want to keep everyone in fighting trim, and Chris Jones is going to be the person to do that. So without further ado, let's talk to Chris Jones. How you doing, Chris Jones?
Man, I am great, Joe Beard. How you doing, brother?
I'm doing pretty good. Really glad and really excited that you and I are working together. Chris Jones is a personal friend of mine. I marched for the International Institution of Sound, Johnson C. Smith. That's right, Johnson C. Smith in 1996, and Chris Jones was the drum major, and from then on, the rest is history. I transferred the following year, 1997, to Jackson State,
and Chris Jones transferred right back after.
Right after, in 1998, Chris later became the drum major as well for Jackson State, just as he was at Johnson C. Smith. And I've known Chris throughout the years, and now Chris has started his own business, March Aerobics. And we'll just go ahead and we'll start from the beginning, Chris. Where are you from?
Well, first and foremost, I'd like to say hello to the listening audience. I am originally from South Carolina, which is Spartanburg, South Carolina. I was born in 1970. I am approximately 42 years old right now. I just had a birthday, August the 7th, and I'm thankful for that. Been teaching fitness, been in fitness for the last 15 years, and been doing it successfully. It's been an ongoing process for me, but I've actually touched a lot of lives, and a lot of people have really bought into my product. But like we were talking about, I was a drum major at Johnson C. Smith. Probably one of the only, I don't know too many other drum majors that have been drum major at two HBCUs, but I was drum major at Johnson C. Smith as well as Jackson State, and and I enjoyed myself in both of those formalities of being a drum major and both of those titles. But my main thing right now is actually helping people get in shape and being mentally in shape and physically in shape. And the process of being physically and mentally in shape is starting a process, a project, which means you are the project. If you don't believe yourself as being a project, you don't believe yourself as being a person of this living world. And I'm a project. Everybody's a project. I consider myself to be a project because every day I try to build myself to be better than what I was the day before. But nevertheless, Joe Beard, man, it's just outstanding, pleasant pleasure. Let me say that right. Pleasure to be on this podcast with you and just, making things happen. And we got this new show happening, 8 to 5 all the way live. I'm looking forward to doing this show and helping out this generation and helping out this world in getting in shape and fitness, because fitness is for everybody. It's not just for me. It's not for you. It's for everybody, because if you're not healthy, you can't work. If you're not healthy, you can't live the way you want to live. You can't do the things you want to do. You can't take care of the kids like you want to take care of the kids. You can't raise a family. None of that. So, fitness is very, very serious, and it's a very serious point that we really need to touch on. And I'm so honored that you asked for my advice and you asked for me to be on your show. I am so honored, and I just want to tell you that I thank you for that. But nevertheless, how can we start this thing off? What can we start this off with, Joe?
Well, double check your mic levels. It's changing over here. It's probably the difference in the technology of what we have.
Correct.
So just double check that. I think,
how am I sounding right now?
Yeah, you're perfect now. You're perfect now.
Good deal.
So you're born in Spartanburg, South Carolina.
Correct.
Went to Spartanburg High School.
Oh, yeah. Actually graduated a year early. I got to put that out there.
Okay.
I graduated when I was 16 years old. I went to night school and day school. So, kids, you can do it. So, keep on going, Joe.
All right.
I had to put that in there.
Yeah, that's cool. So, you went to Johnson C. Smith. Can you tell me, what made you pick Johnson C. Smith?
Well, honestly, the thing that made me pick Johnson C. Smith was that Johnson C. Smith was a smaller school. Not only it being a smaller school, it was a school of high prestige. And I knew when I saw the band was good, but I knew that I could really bring another attribute to the band, that I could really make the band even better than what it was, and that I could really shine and show my talents and my skills that God has given me and bestowed upon me. So, that's why I chose Johnson C. Smith. I had my opportunities to go into FAM. I went and auditioned for FAM. I went and auditioned for Oberlin. I auditioned for South Carolina State. I even measured for a uniform for South Carolina State and had my scholarship in hand and everything. But I didn't go because I wanted a new atmosphere. I wanted a new lifestyle. And my new lifestyle was going to Johnson C. Smith and seeing this band that was a small band, but a band with heart. And it really employed me to be the bandsman that I am. It directed my spirits and my energies to really making that band better in so many ways, from the facets of marching, from the facets of music, to the facets of style and showmanship. So, that's what I did. And God blessed me with the talents, being that I'm from a musical family. I've been around this marching band, this HBCU style for a long time. So, it really helped me out a lot. But nevertheless, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Joe. Now, what were you saying?
No, we're fine. We're just listening to you.
Okay, cool.
So you say that, it pretty much touched your spirit, to go to Smith, and, you really thought that you could add to the flavor there. Did you have a specific memory, like, from marching at Smith? Did you have what was your the greatest experience, I guess, that you had at Smith? I guess most memorable experience.
The most memorable experience at Smith. Wow. I've had so many. It doesn't. I mean, because believe it or not, this is the thing that I've always been impressed with Johnson C. Smith. Went to every game, went to every show. We did things that were extracurricular, like doing the Miss America pageant and doing the NBA finals and doing the NBA draft and doing NFL games and stuff like that. We had so many things that we did, but I think the most memorable thing was when I met this drum major named Michael Brown. Michael Brown said something to me that just scared me, and he put the fear of God in my heart when he said, "Don't move. If a bug bite, they gotta eat too." When he said that to me,
I'm sorry. What did he say?
That stuck in my head.
What did he say?
He said, "If a bug bite, they gotta eat too."
Wow.
And I remember that, and honestly I've utilized that whole saying in my whole tenure of doing band camps, being a clinician, being an adjudicator, being a band director. Because that was a form of discipline that they taught us at Smith. And if you remember correctly, Smith was a very disciplined band, and we really pushed discipline in our band, and that was one of the things that really made us come across on other bands. But yeah, when he said that to me, when I was a crab in the band, that means a freshman. When I was crab in the band, he said that to me, I was like, wow, this is serious. This is Black College Band. I'm really in HBCU band. But yeah, that was one of my most memorable occasions. And I mean, seriously, I can tell you about when I marched for the Panthers for the playoffs. I can tell you when I did the groundbreaking for the Panthers. I can tell you when I marched and I saw Michael Jordan and Michael Jordan shook my hand. But that one saying just tops it all. It really does, honestly.
That's really cool. So you later transferred to Jackson State.
Correct.
What made you transfer?
Well, the thing that made me transfer to Jackson State was Johnson C. Smith had lost his accreditation, and I was trying to finish up my music degree, getting my bachelor's in music education. I was on the verge of finishing when the department lost its accreditation, and it really hurt me a lot. I actually went into a deep seclusion about it, honestly, because I started teaching school for a year. The rest of that semester, I just dropped out of school, and I started teaching. I was a substitute teacher in high school, and I started teaching school. And that was my thing that was my backbone at the time, which was substitute teaching. But at the same time, when John C. Smith lost his accreditation, I said, well, I always wanted to go to Jackson State. I always wanted to be on the sonic boom of the South. And then it's so amazing, and it's so many episodes to this story, Joe. Just like one day, and I tell people about it, and they don't even believe me. They think it's just something I made up. But one day I was sitting in my living room with a bunch of my frat brothers, and this one frat brother from another school said, "Chris, you were a bad drum major at John C. Smith, but I bet you couldn't do that in the SWAC." I said, "What?" I said, "Who are you talking about?" You're not talking about Chris Jones. Chris Jones can be a bad drum major everywhere, but it just opened the door for me to prove my point that I could be the most outstanding, most energetic, most showmanship, most leader, whatever you want to call it, bandsman, musician, all of the above. Because the year I was drum major at Jackson State, I won the most prestigious award. That was most outstanding bandsman at Jackson State, which is the Ronald J. Duplessis Award. And I won that award because I was one of the most outstanding bandsmen at the school at the time. But my thing was, when this guy said this to me, it really employed me, or really pushed me to prove my point that I could be the drum major that I was in the CIAA that I was in the SWAC, and I proved my point. But I even proved my point on another level because I was 29 years old, 30 years old, being drum major under kids that were 21, 22, 19, whatever, whatnot. But I was holding my own at the same level, on the fitness level, on the endurance level, on the energized level that anybody could hold, and probably higher than anybody would hold on a drum major level. But that was the thing. But like I said, I transferred to Jackson State. It was a learning experience. It was really a really big learning experience for me. And my thing is that at Jackson State, it was a different environment. I learned different things. I learned different styles. I learned that music has a different color to it. That style is style. Everybody has their own style, and I had to learn the Jackson State style. Learning coming from Johnson C. Smith, which was a more upright, more driving type band, to a more stylistic band, is a different thing, and it really impressed me to learn the style, and it really showed me another avenue about musicianship and bandsmanship. So I took that and I ran with it, and from then on I made march aerobics, which I became a personal trainer and made march aerobics from marching band. And I used the genre of all the bands that I've seen, from Bethune-Cookman to South Carolina State to FAMU to Jackson State to Alabama State to Albany State, Morris Brown, all these schools I've seen. I used their moves and created this format of aerobics, and it really has benefited me in so many ways. And I thank God for it, and I thank God for giving me the idea and the impression and the envision to do something of this nature.
Yeah, that actually leads right into my next question. I was going to ask you about march aerobics. How did that start? Where did that come to mind? So, how did you get the ball rolling with march aerobics?
Well, first and foremost, Joe, I like to say that the thing that started march aerobics off was I saw people in band camp. They come in, they're all out of shape. Some people, we send all these memos out, get in shape. You need to learn your music before you get to band camp, and all this and this and that. Some people didn't heed to that warning that we sent out. But nevertheless, the thing that really touched me and really started me on the march aerobics tip was that I saw people lose weight in weeks. 2 weeks they would lose 10 pounds from marching, just marching alone, and doing the calisthenics and the activities that we did as bandsmen. Mm-hmm. And then I would notice that their endurance levels was up. Now I would also notice that during the season, in the middle of the season, that people that marched in the band had more energy. And so I put this whole package together, and I created this thing called march aerobics, which came from all the formats, all the styles, all the creativity of all HBCUs and all traditional schools. And the thing is, it's just not Jackson State. It's just not Johnson C. Smith. Like I said, it's everybody. I do a move that's called double dutch. That comes from FAMU. I do a move called Morris Brown. That comes from Morris Brown. I do a move called footwork. That comes from Bethune-Cookman. I do a move called Shalimar. That comes from South Carolina State. But all these moves come from different HBCUs, and I created this genre and put this whole collage together and made this mess and made march aerobics out of that mess. And it's really benefited me. I've done T.D. Jakes. I've been to T.D. Jakes' church. I performed at T.D. Jakes' church. I performed for President. I performed for many different attributes and different atmospheres. And I did the cancer walk in Jackson this year, in Jackson, Mississippi, and there was 10,000 people there. And I showed up and showed out. But march aerobics is really put a really big notch in my life, and breaking the Guinness Book, doing the Guinness Book. And people don't know this, but I've actually broke the Guinness Book twice. I did it once. I did 25 hours, and then the second time I did 26 hours. My next goal is to do 30 hours because somebody has broken my record, but I am going to break their record. They did 29 hours and 5 minutes in London. I plan on doing 30 hours in the next coming months. But martial aerobics is my life. Martial aerobics helps people out. Martial aerobics benefits people, and it's a way to touch lives and touch souls, and that's what God put me on this earth to do. So,
for the Guinness Book of World Records, you were saying that you would just be exercising for 30 hours. Is this right, or would you be?
No, you exercise for 30 hours, but I have to stay on my feet actually for 30 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, I have to do basically marching for 30 hours. Doing the martial aerobics moves, I have to do standing moves, and I have to have 10 people per hour.
Oh, wow, okay.
Yeah, I have to have 10 people per hour. If I don't have 10 people per hour, I attempted to, and that's the amazing thing. I attempted to do this last year. I did 24 hours, but on my 25th hour, only had 8 people, so I had to stop right there. But I had the endurance, I had the energy to go on, but I just didn't have the manpower.
Right.
That's one of the codes and one of the rules of breaking the Guinness. You have to have 10 people per hour.
Okay. Well, that's actually really cool. So we're getting to somewhat of the end of the interview. I wanted to talk to you, we wanted to talk about the 8 to 5 show and what's going to be on that show, but to end on about martial aerobics. Is there a phone number? I know that we have a website.
Well, there is a phone number you can reach me at. It's area code 601-212-7710. If you're interested in getting DVDs, I have a Volume 1, Volume 2, and we have Volume 3, 4, and 5 coming out in October. So if you really want to get those DVDs, please get in touch with me. Volume 1 is great. It's a beginner video, beginner to intermediate, and then we have Volume 2, which is an advanced video, intermediate to advanced video, and then 3 and 4 are going to be, one is going to be called 9 minutes, 30 seconds of funk, and the fourth one is going to be called Ab Lab, which is going to be working on the abs and the bottoms. I'm thinking about Ab Lab or bellies and bottoms, one of the two. I don't know which one, Joe. But and the other one is going to be called 8 to 5, just like my show, 8 to 5 all the way live. And it's going to be a straight, intense workout that you can really enjoy and really get some results out of.
Okay, so what's the phone number that the listener would call again to get the DVD?
That number is 601-212-7710. Once again, that number is 601-212-7710.
Okay, and I know that in the near future we're going to have marchaerobics.com.
Correct.
We'll have the listener traffic to marchaerobics.com or call the 601-212-7710 number to get those martial aerobics DVDs.
Correct.
Okay, so I really appreciate the time, Chris, and we're gonna.
I appreciate you too, Joe Zamir.
Yeah, man. It's no thing. We're gonna go ahead and change the world, and get some more support for our schools and get some more support for music in general.
Correct.
The 8 to 5 show. Now it's going to be coming on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern, 3:30 Pacific. We're going to definitely be talking about fitness and stuff. But could you just say, I guess, just being a personal trainer, the importance of physical fitness, and also playing an instrument or being a musician and being physically fit?
Well, one of the things, I'm just putting it simple and plain and putting it in layman's terms. If you have the energy and the endurance as a musician, you play better, you perform better. I can attest to that because I was a 30-year-old man marching with 21 and 20, 19 and 18-year-old people, and I was out marching them because I prepared my body. And I took my body to that next level to be physically fit. And I'm not talking about just doing a little bit. I did a lot. I was running at least 60 to 70 miles a week. I was eating right, doing my weight training, doing my cardiovascular, my stretching, my yoga. I was also doing a lot of swimming. And these things benefited me, and they really helped me in my career as far as being an aerobic instructor and a personal trainer. But my thing is the temple. The temple is the only one you get, so you have to take care of it. If you're going to mess it up, mess it up. But if you're not going to mess it up and you want to do something with it, do something with it. Get up and do something. Don't just hesitate. Don't just procrastinate. Do something about yourself. Do something about your life. Take advantage of the situation that you have, that God has given you, and take advantage of the opportunities that God has given you. And my thing is, I always take advantage of it. I do. Just like tomorrow, I'll be leaving to go to another band camp. I'm going to push them like none other, because that's what I do. Because that's fitness. Because I know that's what makes a bandsman better. Health and fitness. But I'm not going to talk your head off, Joseph Beard. I appreciate the opportunity just to, put my ministry and my voice on iPod. But once again, I like to thank you.
Yeah, man, it's no problem. You definitely won't be talking our heads off for podcast episodes. We're gonna try to fill up as the minutes as possible.
Correct.
The really cool thing is not only is this gonna benefit musicians, but we hope that this is gonna benefit the regular high school and college student as well.
Correct.
We want them to stay in shape. We want all of us to stay in shape, and we want all of you guys to listen to Chris Jones and his advice coming up this fall on the
and I'm coming with it, baby.
That's right, and Chris Jones is going to be coming with it. We're on the end. Let's go ahead and wrap it up, Chris. Do you have any advice out there for the young musician? Also, any advice to the college student or the young adult and the postgraduate, I guess, the old folk, the rest of us?
The only thing I can say is look at yourself in the mirror. If you enjoy and you appreciate what you see, don't do nothing. But if you look at yourself in that mirror and you're not content with what you see, get up and do something. Do something physical. Get on your fitness, get on your health, get on your eating, get on your weight training, all that, all of the above, because this life is only one. You only get one. God only gives you one life, and this is the only one you get. So it's time for you to push. It's time for you to make a difference in yourself and make a difference, and that's to everybody. And if you're going to school, if you're out of school, take care of your temple. I am a 42-year-old man, and you'll never know it. I promise you, you will never know, because I don't look the part. I don't act the part. I don't feel the part. I feel like I'm 18. I can still dunk. I can still run. I can still play ball. I can still play my drums. I can still march like it was nothing. But the thing is, the reason why I can do that is because I take care of this temple. I work it. I push it to no end. And that's what you have to do. Push until something happens.
All right, Chris Jones, we're going to wrap it up. Thanks again.
Let's wrap it up then, baby.
Thanks again. We're going to be listening to the 8 to 5 All the Way Live on Tuesdays at 6:30 Eastern p.m., 3:30 Eastern. Thanks a lot, Chris Jones.
I appreciate it. Thank you, Joe Beard.
All right, and we'll see you later.
Peace, love.
All right, well, that was fun. That was great talking with Chris Jones. I'm going to go ahead and wrap up the show, guys. That's all the time we have. We want to thank God first and foremost. We thank Chris Jones. Please check out our website at themarchingpodcast.com. Thanks to you for listening. Check out the blog for the Marching Podcast. That's blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. It's also on the left top corner of the marchingpodcast.com website. We really appreciate all of your love and support. We really appreciate where things were going. So go ahead and flood to that website. We're going to go ahead and try to expand things. We actually have next episode coming up on Thursday with Woodshedding with McFadden. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time.